Did you get something? Start off with the pledge, if you would, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Are there any additions or corrections at this time for the agenda? Okay. We all received the meeting minutes for July 29th, 2025. Accounts payable. I have no questions on those, and the recorder's report.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is consideration formal action liquor license renewals. Amber says we have two, one to Fairview Country Club and one to the Backroom Lounge, but they are pending Dram Shop review, so we could approve those pending that, or
I would make a motion to approve the Fairview Country Club and the Backroom Lounge.
Sorry.
pending Dram Shop, Mr. Crouch.
Yes.
Second that motion. We have a motion and a second to approve the liquor licenses pending Dram Shop. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
I'll abstain.
Motion carries. Public comment. Any public comment at this time? Ed? I know you're Ed, but please state your name if you could, please.
Ed Cambridge, 20703 Barris Road, Glenwood. I'm a home builder. I drive back and forth to Malvern almost every day the last 5 or 6 years, and I've been watching the mountain grow and getting more concerned about it. And I found out they're going to be reviewing the Board of Adjustment permit here in a couple weeks. So I started doing some research, and I got all this information online from the Iowa DNR reports, which are submitted quarterly by the landfill operator. And they also have an annual report, which I'll refer to. But I noticed in the paper a year ago, they talked about the permitted service area, which is Mills, Montgomery, and Potawatomi County, and all the towns in those areas. And it's called out specifically. But I've also noticed there are a lot of vehicles coming that aren't from those areas. So when I got into it, I found out that we're famous. We have the largest landfill in the state of Iowa. It's been neck and neck with the one that serves Des Moines, but this last quarter, the report showed that we passed them. And on an annual basis, we're receiving an annual tonnage of 783,500 tons. That's much larger than most of the other metropolitan areas in Iowa. And the population of a similar permit as our permitted service area generates about 1/5 or 1/6 of that amount. So as you can see, the reason is the tonnage is coming from out of state. 77% from Nebraska, 7% from Missouri. So a total of 84% of the tonnage coming to our landfill is coming from out of state. 16% is coming from in-state. In other words, 5 times as much as we produce in our permitted area is coming from out of state. I also inquired about the fees for dumping. When I send a trailer from a construction site, half a ton, it's charged at $54 a ton, cost me $27. But I checked with my trash man, and he said, well, I used to pay $35 a ton, but now they raised it to $50 a ton. So at $50 a ton, that's generating $39 million for the landfill operator per year. That's bigger than most of the only one I can think of that's bigger is maybe Bungie. Maybe you know about some that are larger, some large ag farm operations, but that's a lot of income for a business. And I want to speak to that. There's been comments that, well, we can't control what they do because it's an interstate commerce business. A landfill is not the same as a restaurant or a shoe store or a hardware store. It's a necessity for the citizens. It's just like a sewage treatment plant or a water treatment plant. So it doesn't need to be treated exactly the same. But Mills County, which hosts this landfill, gets nothing from the operation of landfill. They pay a fee to the Iowa DNR, which is about $300,000 a year, but that all goes to DNR for their programs. Nothing comes back to the Mills County. Their conditional use permit, which was originally approved in June of 2020, comes up for review in 2 weeks. So my point is to make people aware of this situation and see if there's something that should be done about it. It's not to be approved by the Board of Supervisors, but the Board of Supervisors is the one that get all the phone calls. And they're also the ones that bear the costs. Now, what are the costs? Well, there's half a dozen that I can think of. The biggest one is that the capacity of this landfill, according to their financial assurance report that they file annually, is 7 million tons. And last year they used 700,000 tons. So that means it has a lifespan of 10 years. So in 10 years, Mills County is going to need to do something else. Are we going to have any money to do something else? Can we create a new landfill? DNR tells me there hasn't been a new landfill in Iowa in 30 years. The solution is a transfer station to haul it up to some other landfill if we can find one. But that increases the hauling costs. So what's happening is the permitted capacity of the landfill is being used up 5 times as fast as it would be if it was only serving the permitted area. It's only going to last maybe 8-10 years instead of 40 or 50 years. We need to be financially prepared to do something in 8 or 10 years. So there's a reason that Mills County needs the money. There's a lot of talk about littering, and there's a way to stop the littering, and that is heavy reinforcement. Maybe we need a deputy out there all day, every day, but that costs money. And, if a deputy was out there levying maximum fines, the littering would stop. Mills County is responsible for some maintenance, repair, replacement of public facilities. That's another cost. Property tax is based on market value of properties. I'm sure that the subdivision across the road from the landfill has a lower market value because of its location, and therefore less tax revenue to the Mills County. It's hard to equate, but Mills County could be sued if something happened as a result of the operation of the landfill. An accident. Everybody sues somebody, whether it's valid or not. Does Mills County have the financial wherewithal to protect themselves or pay damages if they are liable? So I've heard that we can't charge a business that's doing interstate commerce, but that's not the case here. And I found in research that there's something called a host community compensation. We are hosting this landfill and we deserve to be compensated for that. I don't know how much. Yeah, go ahead.
We do receive money from the landfill. We get paid on a tonnage basis. I can't remember the figure that Chris gave me, but it's around $230,000 a year is what we received last year.
Who's Chris?
Govic. That's who they that's who DNR turns the tonnage in to her to have them pay taxes on to us.
Well, DNR said that they don't send any money to us. It
No,
all
no, I'm
stays
not
at
talking
DNR.
about money. I'm talking about DNR sends Chris the tonnage that goes through
Mhm,
the landfill.
mhm.
Then we charge so what, we get paid so much a ton for that. And it was around $230,000 last year.
Where does that go, Richard?
It goes into general fund.
And how? Through the treasurer?
Yep.
I looked and couldn't find it, but I'm
Well,
sure you're right. You look
Uh,
so fine.
Well, and as far as the county doing any road maintenance or anything, we turned the road over to
They vacated it.
to them because we couldn't keep up with it. You know,
That
they-
county road entering there.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they own everything from 34 back to the landfill scale house.
Mhm.
And there's a few measures they put into effect. The trucks and stuff that go in and out of there, they're all, they use cameras and stuff on them. If any truck leaves without a tarp on, they're notified and they're dead for the day. If they leave at 6 o'clock in the morning with the tarp open, they can't haul any material. It's been very effective for them, but still we get some trash, and we call them flappers. We've seen them run down the highway as well as I have. I've been over and talked to them. I said, why can't you get fully tarped, just like a grain truck,
Mhm.
And they said, well, we're working on it, but everything costs money. Well, I says, my backside keeps getting rid, so I'm gonna ride yours. Anyway, that's a few
Yeah,
comments that,
Yeah, I
that,
understand.
going on over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, my purpose here today is just to make the public and the board aware of this information. I'm going to pass on to the Matt Wyatt, the county planning and zoning consultant, and also the proposed clause to put in the new permit from the county.
I have another question on
Sure.
this host. Have you contacted any of the other landfills, that's talked about in here? Whether they are being charged or being paid a host fee? Or
As far as I know, the only one in Iowa is in Marion,
Okay,
City of Marion, right?
city of Marion for that landfill.
because
But
they have,
it's a process that's been in place for 50 years. EPA has a 40-page paper on it, so it's a valid
I
process.
think it's very valid myself.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I'll just say I've talked to Board of Adjustment members and looking at their conditional use permit from 2020. There was certain objectives from the Board of Adjustment that the landfill was supposed to meet, vacating 290th Street. That was one of them. We did that, of course. And then they were also supposed to pave, I believe, 400 feet of 290th Street, 600 feet of 290th Street, and then have a landscaping plan. Talking to Matt Wyatt, not exactly sure if they paid that 600 feet, and there hasn't been a landscaping plan submitted to planning and zoning. They were supposed to meet a year after that meeting, so it would have been June or July of 2021. But that was, of course, a chaotic time, so they weren't able to meet, so we're bringing them in now. Talking to Board of Adjustment members, it seems like it would be worth making some changes. I've talked to you about that, talked to Matt Wyatt, and talked to John in the county attorney's office, and it seems like the host fees could be something that we could implement. So I appreciate your work on this one, Ed. So, yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, next item on the agenda is committee meeting updates. I had a short week. Had a tax sale task force meeting with the state, ISAC. We're working on revamping some of the rules for tax sales, so that's a good thing. Moving forward, no results yet. That's about all I had.
I did not have any meetings last week.
I attended a safety meeting with the county engineer and the workers down there. It's a lot of it is educational, but we have a program where, they tag it and lock it. I find it very interesting when you talk to some of the workers and things that, something's not working right, they can put a tag on it, lock it up, and it can't be used till it's fixed. And then they brought in drugs. They had a lady come in and talk about opioid and all the problems that it's causing here in southwest Iowa. We're in the vicinity of Omaha, Council Bluffs. We are in the largest area in the United States where opioid is coming in. And it's, she gave figures and stuff, but I thought it was really interesting that the workers there, it opens their eyes for their family and kids and stuff that are very vulnerable to this. So I want to thank the engineer for putting this out to the workers here. And, if it helps one person, that's one person that we help. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Jacob Farrell, you're up next, buddy. Consideration formal action, resolution 2520 bridge embargo.
Okay, first on the agenda, resolution 2520. This comes after our biannual bridge inspections. We have HGM do that, so it's every 2 years. And then they spit out a list to us of bridges that can't meet the real load limits, and then we come to them. So this resolution is just officially embargoing them, and then of course we will have signs out there to reflect what's on page 2 of this resolution. So we have 20 bridges on here. Since the last inspection, we did remove Queens Out Bridge. If you guys remember discussion on that, it's on dirt road. Decided to just remove the bridge and not replace it. And then 400th Street Bridge is almost completed construction right now.
Good.
So
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 25-20, which is bridge embargo resolution.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2520 for bridge embargoes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's do a roll call vote.
Crouch,
Yes.
Sayers,
Yes.
Blueberry.
Yes, motion carries. We also sign that. You want it or not?
did she sign it?
Usually mine.
Okay, next item on the agenda is engineers employment contract amendment.
Okay, I had a chance to speak with you each individually, kind of give you a little bit of background information on this. It's kind of no secret now, there's a nearby county that has a vacant county engineer position. Came vacant about 2 months ago. They've been reaching out to me since then. So through different discussions, kind of back and forth, over the course of 2 months, last week they did vote and they officially put an offer on the table to employ me up there at this county. So the official offer on the table right now is basically matching my current benefits, preloading sick leave, vacation leave banks to almost what they are now, and then the accrual rates will be the same. The big gap that comes between where I am now and this offer is in the salary. So currently I'm at $140,000 a year. The offer on the table is for $165,000 a year. Since the very beginning, them reaching out, I've said the same thing, and I said this to you all too, is I love working here. I really like the guys I work with, everyone in the office, department heads. And so I said it would have to be a significant incentive, a large gap for me to consider it. So now that the offer is on the table, looking at a $25,000 gap, and of course, that makes me think, what would that mean for me and my family? Of course, day-to-day basis, but certainly on a year-to-year account when it comes to family vacations, and it comes to educational opportunities for children, and also even long-term planning. I think of IPERS and how that sets me up for retirement, being at a larger pay scale. And then also, of course, when you factor in annual raises, that gap would kind of just grow over time as well. So it certainly, in my eyes, is a significant increase. And so with that, I wanted to come before you guys and make an official request to have this board match that offer on the table and continue my employment here at Mills County. Open for discussion. I know there's gonna be questions for me, and I'm happy to answer those. Before we get to that, I just kind of wanted to go through a couple things, printed this out, just kind of some information, because it may sound like a large number, but when you kind of look at what the going rate for county engineer is for counties nearby, you kind of bring some insight to that. So starting with Harrison County, they kind of been in a situation, had an open engineer's position, they filled it. It's been less than 2 months and he's resigned. I guess it just wasn't a good fit. So they're hiring again, up to $150,000 starting for a new engineer coming in. Below that, and this is one I really want to bring attention to, is Adams County. So Adams County, it has, if not the least, one of the least population counties in the state at 3,700 people. And they're offering $165,000 for their county engineer, a $10,000 sign-on bonus, and student loan reimbursement after 5 years. Now, what's interesting about this position, it was originally posted February 1st of 2024. It's almost 18 months they've been looking for a county engineer. It just goes to show that for some reason, and I will right now, county engineers are usually when the position comes vacant, it's like that for a while. O'Brien County, $155,000. Dickinson County, recently hired $155,000. So, and then obviously the offer on the table at $165,000. So when you kind of look at the realm of what's out there, I don't think it's out of the ballpark. Is kind of what I'm getting at for the request. One last thing, this is the current employment contract that I am under. You guys have probably seen that, but just for reference here. In section 1, the last sentence there. The county engineer may request and the board may grant additional positive salary adjustments throughout the life of this agreement. So I just wanted to highlight that if this request was granted, it's not breaking any sort of contract. It's not outside of legal means. It was written into the original contract of employment for flexibility for certain situations like this. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions and
Well,
appreciate your consideration.
I would make a motion to approve this so we can get it on the board, so we can discuss this legally. To approve the contract amendment
Up to,
up to $165,000.
second that motion. Any discussion?
Well, I would I would start off the discussion, folks. I sit on the State Service Bureau for the county engineers. I contacted 8 different counties in the past 4 or 5 days, and one guy that I talked to and stuff was clear up from Greene County, but he says, Richard, there are 8 vacancies now in the county engineering department. By, he said, the end of October, that could be as high as 12. So he says, and no one seems to be budging off of this, what he calls a solitary employment of 150 to 165,000. And you know, when you're offering someone 165,000, you think they would be standing at your door beating it down to get in. But there are so many engineering firms that want these engineers, you know, and you can't blame them. It's an 8 to 5 job. You go to the office, you do your engineering course and stuff, get your work done. But you know, it's just like Jacob said, Adams County's been at it for 18 months. They're offering 165,000 and sign-on bonuses, and nobody's showing up. Yes, it's a little bit out of the way out there in Adams County. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people to associate with. And another thing I would like to inject here especially is I was at this safety meeting. You know how rumors go. There was probably 8 to 10 employees that came up to me and wanted to know how we was gonna handle this. And I says, I really don't know, but I says, I don't wanna see him leave either because he has put this organization down here. The guys like to come to work. There's very little what I would call animosity or bickering between the crews and stuff. If they're asked to do something, they go do it, get it done. He has implemented a lot of new techniques that we're doing down here. We have a road crew now that does mowing only. And I tell you what, that used to be done by all the farmers and stuff, but there's nobody that puts up hay anymore. And you know, a lot of the farmers are so big, they don't have time to mow the roadsides and things unless it's along their houses. So the county's kind of taken that over. Some other things, you know, that the way we do things with the workers here, they're very happy. So that's kind of my 2 cents worth on wanting to approve this contract. I know it sounds like a lot of money, but we would spend probably $25,000 in finding an engineer. Besides, we would either have to pay for another county engineer to come in, do our county work that he does weekly for us, or we would have to hire a firm to come and do it for us. We have to have a county engineer sign off on, is it payroll? And other things, you know, bridge construction, road construction. So it's not that, you know, you think, well, that's a lot of money. We can just go find somebody else. That's not the case anymore. I mean, when you're looking at 18 months to find an employee, it's kind of obsolete, I guess. That's fine.
Thank you. Mr. Sayers?
Just my remarks. Oh, Jake, you do a great job. I have no complaints myself, and I know that your staff is a big fan of you, and I appreciate that. But I think it's important to mention that we would be going from being the 52nd largest county in population to the 9th largest salary for county engineers. I think that puts in a big perspective because Dubuque County, their county engineer makes $164,337. So we'd be $663 ahead of that, which doesn't seem like a big difference, but the big difference comes to population. Dubuque County has a population of 99,242 people versus our population of 14,717. I think that's a big disparity. It's a big gap, and there's a reason why there should be a gap in salary. I understand. I wouldn't blame you for taking this offer from the other county because it could do wonders for your family, of course. But I guess I go back to the same thing that we all say when it comes to our deputies. When it comes to our deputies, we tell our deputies, yes, we're not going to be able to pay as much as the bigger counties, as the bigger cities. But we have good benefits program. Workload is much different in a smaller county like this versus more of a metropolitan county. And the way of life down here, working with people in the area, is much different. So that's what I'd like to bring up. I think you're a great county engineer. I don't want to lose you, but at the same time, I just don't know if $165,000, if that's a good idea for us to do as a county.
Jack, you brought up the sheriff's department. We have 3 deputies that are drawing over $110,000 apiece. You want to figure that out per population? Or those 3 deputies plus all the other ones we have.
Those are the lieutenant and the 2 sergeants. And if you'll remember in that meeting when we discussed that, I said I was not in favor of that.
Right.
So I was not in favor of that increase even then.
I too reached out to 5 or 6 different counties, and being in the engineering profession and around it on a daily basis. There's some openings like Mr. Crouch stated, and there's gonna be many more openings. People just don't want the job anymore, and I think if we don't make this move, it's gonna cost us more in the long run anyway. So I see this as a tax savings. We'll find this money within your budget if this passes, and that's all I have to say. Is there any other discussion?
I don't know the rules, so I just,
No, yeah.
that's what I
yep,
wanted to ask.
Yep, thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the raise of up to $165,000. Is that what your motion was, Mr. Crouch? And a second, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, let's do a roll call vote. Amber?
Crouch,
Yes,
Mayberry,
Yes.
Sayers.
No.
Motion carries. Any general discussion, Mr. Farrell?
Is that, to clarify, to bring back a contract with the figure or signature then?
Yes, sir.
That cannot be made today?
Not right now, but it can this week.
So, who will help? I
I
guess
will, I'll
the motion
contact,
was up to, so,
Sure.
That's why I clarified it. It's
It's two.
It's 165.
Okay.
Yes.
alright,
So
that's
I
just
can-
what I wanted.
Julie will be gone tomorrow or the rest of the week.
Yeah.
My guess is it's more convenient to start it at a pay period start,
Yep.
so we can work on a contract to get it ready. We can put together, get that done.
Okay,
You have an
I have the
offer.
contract
Okay,
ready at
perfect.
the start of the pay period.
Okay.
Since it was on the agenda, if that is feasible, but I don't.
Sign it next week. I'll put it on the
Yes.
agenda
Okay.
to sign it next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Any other general discussion, Mr. Farrell?
No, I was just gonna say, tacking on to what Richard said, it was a good safety meeting. That was really good, and we have Stay Built in, working on seal coating the roads. There still seems to be some kind of misinformation floating out there. I've been trying to correct it on Facebook.
You've been doing a good job for that.
Seal coat roads are not asphalt roads, and that's hard for just kind of driving over to be able to tell. But everything that was ground up on 225th, 250th, and 315th, we are seal coating those back. And it'll probably be done within a week, weather dependent. So those will be put back. Again, Brothers Ave that we ground up will sit for only 1 year. It is not going to permanently be gravel, just for one season, go through the freeze thaw cycle, and then we'll come back next year in that budget and seal coat that.
Good.
people on 315th Street goes north of Malvern, right?
Yes.
Have several comments. I was wondering, do you know how long it's gonna take them to grind that with that little machine? I says, okay, folks, this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna grind up about 4 foot on each side.
Yeah.
They're gonna relay it, put it down, reseal it. I said, they're trying to help the width of the road out. I says, the size of the farm equipment, even traffic vehicles nowadays, dually trucks and things, you know, it takes all the road to get by. And I said, we're gonna make it a little bit wider and hopefully make it a little bit safer for everybody. I says, you have to realize a lot of these roads were put together years and years ago where there was no requirement on width, you know, so. Now,
It's a newer technique we've been doing, because in the past, when the edges start to break, we just grind up the whole road, 22-foot wide. So by just doing the edges, it's a huge cost savings. We've been able to add additional length of roadways when we do this.
and they was all satisfied. They said, well, it's about time you got to it. So, you're a little bit slow, Jake.
Yeah,
That's okay.
it's okay. It takes time. So,
Thank you.
yep, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Greg Schultz, consideration formal action, approval to hire detention officer.
Yeah.
That's the first time we've ever heard that.
Yeah,
Greg.
yeah, it's actually, good of that.
Right.
Yeah, we've had a revolving door in the past, had a conversation about the fact that we can't seem to keep, because of pay, because of hours, because of nice weekends, all those things. Plus you're stuck in the same place. But anyway, we had one of our dealers, quit last week, so we're one short. Just like permission to go ahead and move forward and start the hiring process all over again.
That's the approval to advertise.
Well, yeah, it would be approval to advertise.
Approval to advertise.
And that would be in process. We'll hire
The male or female?
them. Male.
It was a male.
No.
I'll make a motion to approval to advertise for the detention officer position.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve advertise.
Advertise.
To advertise for a hire, to advertise for the detention officers. Any discussion?
Did we, I thought we had a
I thought we had
discussion.
an open,
Yeah, we do.
okay.
We do.
You just,
But I also feel as though,
I agree.
in
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
full transparency to you guys
I
and to
agree.
everybody out here,
Yes.
it's tough, it's challenging.
As soon as you get it filled and it's a week
Yep.
later and you don't have one.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we
We
looked
had
it
high
up.
hopes for this one, and just wasn't gonna work out.
It happens.
And he decided.
No, I'm glad you bring it to us, but I was sitting here thinking, okay, he's probably already started this, or we've had a discussion where we had given you permission to
Yeah.
keep
And-
hiring because
Thank you for
And
coming in.
what I can do is, next time, I'll just do it in general discussion, let you know that I'm doing it.
You can-
Okay.
But obviously with the conversation,
There's no problem with this.
I know it had been a while since we had talked about it,
Mhm.
and quite frankly, I think the last time we talked about it,
Absolutely.
I was fairly in my infancy as sheriff, so I wanted to bring it back to you.
Good. Thank you. We like having you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Thank you. General discussion.
I wanted to just circle back to a conversation I had a couple weeks ago. I had both my front office staff off at the same time. I had just 2 days of overlapping vacation, which was an oversight on my part. But I also know that it's difficult in this situation. I guess I didn't foresee this event happening. Generally speaking, one takes a week vacation, the other follows the following week. This time because of seniority and the amount of vacation the one gal earned, she decided to go ahead and take 2 weeks instead of one. Ended up overlapping for a couple days. We put out a post on, well, first things first, we're gonna try not to let that happen again. I'm not gonna say that it's not. We're gonna do our best to foreshadow a little bit better, to try and make sure that doesn't happen on a regular basis if it does happen again. But there are instances where we cannot stop that. In September, the 2 of them are gone again. They both have to attend the school that's mandatory for their training and certification, so they have to leave. The mistake that I made, the other mistake that I made, was that when I put it out on Facebook, the office didn't close. The office is truly never closed. No different than somebody coming in after hours to bond out a jailer. We still have a call button in the front. That call button will go to the jail or to the comm center. We have the opportunity then, to the jail. The jailers that are there 24/7, 365, no questions asked, can then call it to the comm center. The comm center will then call us in and we can be there. Now, the difference is the immediacy. While having the 2 ladies up front, there and able to take your stuff or handle your problem immediately. Most likely, if they're gonna have to call on a deputy anyway, it could be the same amount of time, except for a couple minutes. But them being there to answer that question immediately, let you know what's going on, versus having to contact the jail, who then has to contact dispatch. So it could take a few minutes. But I just want everybody to know, the jail, the sheriff's office and the jail never truly close. Our intent is not, and my intent, my mistake, was not to have that come out as though we're not answering calls. We are still answering calls. All you have to do is come ring the bell. We'll come help you out, especially during the day shift hours. I find myself in that office probably more than I think I should be. And you know, just some of the simple fixes are, you know, grab my laptop versus sit at my desktop and go sit up front so I can be the one to answer the immediate question. So, again, a couple of mistakes on my part, some clarification, and obviously the workaround next time. Just that was my general discussion. I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop. And like I
Thank
said,
you.
and this is from conversation during our last couple of board meetings, just to try and clear the air a little bit and make sure everybody knows that we're still operating 24/7, 365. So,
You don't take Sundays off even.
I try.
There's no
Doesn't-
crime on Sunday.
Yeah, it doesn't always
right?
work so good. Yeah, it always takes the weekends off.
Just put a sign up.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I had.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, the next item on the agenda is discussion, Board of Adjustment member.
I asked for this to be on the agenda, sent an email to Amber explaining my reasoning. I did the same thing to Matt Wyatt and Audra Kruger. From my understanding in the past, there used to be applications for certain boards in the county. That's what Audra explained to me. Is that correct, Monty?
Applications for
Some
boards.
sort of, it's for Board of Adjustments.
We've
specifically.
advertised for them before, yeah.
So my understanding, you know, I think it'd be better for transparency for the board itself, that we could discuss a position like this before we actually vote to appoint it. So Jenny Warren is resigning from the Board of Adjustment.
Yes.
She's not going to resign until after the August meeting because she was there in 2020 for the landfill discussion. So it'd be good to have her there for that one as well. So we still don't need to appoint anybody, but I just thought it'd be a good idea to have a chance to sit down and talk about any names or anybody that anybody has heard of that might be willing. That way we can do our own research ourselves respectively.
Discuss away.
Has anybody talked to you about?
I've had a few, but I'm not gonna mention their names yet because they haven't decided. So
Okay.
there wouldn't be much discussion here tonight, from,
Okay.
at least on my part. But yes, I've had a couple people reach out.
Okay. Anybody reach out to you, Richard?
Not yet, no.
I just think that, you know, when we go through these approval to appoint somebody, you know, I don't think Richard should blindside me with the motion, or you should blindside me with the motion, I should blindside you with the motion, or vice versa, any way around. I just would assume that there has to be some sort of process that we can have to start to nail down and make sure that we're all are well aware of who we're thinking of before we actually have to vote for them. Because there's some people that I don't know specifically from the west side. Some people that I don't know on the east side, and I know that's the same thing for you guys, so.
If I recall, the last person that we did appoint, they contacted the office down here
Okay,
and told them, and that's what we kind of go off of. I mean, they try and get information, okay, what's this consist of? What they really need to do is come to a couple board meetings and see what actually goes on,
I agree.
you know? Because there's a lot of people I've talked to about trying to get them on boards and stuff, and they just plain say, nope, people are too nasty. I don't want to put up with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully we can find some people that, any volunteers out here,
It's requirement.
you're here.
That's all I have for discussion. Just something to think about for the future.
Sure. All right, the next item on the agenda is Bonnie Millsap. What you got, Bonnie?
Well, I got a couple of questions about, they had some, job openings. There was one for a facility, not get my papers right. a facility and a safety coordinator.
Yes.
Have we always had one?
Yes.
Well, this is, we had a, do you mind if I answer?
Go
this
for
one?
it,
Sorry.
yes.
We had a janitor that resigned, and we've been looking to find a way to save some money by having a point person for all of our maintenance issues for all of our buildings inside the courthouse. So I'm taking the job that was the custodians and adding on the maintenance and safety coordinator portion of it possibly. So it's replacing somebody that has resigned,
So it's all
but
into one.
changing, yeah,
Yes.
but
All into
changing
one
the
now.
job description a bit to make it fit more what we need right now.
So the money's already in the budget.
Yes.
Sure is.
Okay. The second one was about an administrative assistant for the accounts payable.
I will also answer that one.
Yeah.
That is in my office. I have an open position from an employee that has left. And so
So that's always been there.
I just changed the job description on that one a little bit too, but yeah.
So
it's
the
in my
money's
budget.
been in the budget.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's the one that you had. I know I suppose I'm not allowed to. Can I make a comment about the county engineer? Or do I have to be on an agenda for a board meeting?
You should have done it in the beginning during.
Probably just gotta wait
Yeah,
for this
but
one.
you
Bob.
do have, if you can tie it into the explanation of expiration of.
Yeah,
right of
I wanna know
redemption.
what that means. In the paper, it said expiration of the right of redemption of, from sales tax sales. What's that mean?
Can I see it?
There's two different things in here.
Yes,
Two
yeah,
different-
when there's, and don't hold me to this exactly, but there's, when there's a tax sale, the previous owner has the right of redemption to make the,
Buy it back,
Pay their
yes,
taxes.
yes,
pay the taxes and buy it back.
yes, yes. If you don't pay your taxes and it ends up in county's hands, if we don't repossess it, but we take a title to it, like a tax sale title, which is kind of what we're working on now through the state
Yeah,
and ISAC. There's gonna be a new process of how it is handled. The right of redemption just gives the existing homeowner or previous homeowner the rights to any, let's say you owe $20,000 to the county and we end up taking title to it from back taxes. But if we sell it and we get 80,000, then you can get some of your reimbursement back, as long as we're made whole.
okay. That really don't make sense to me.
But- You know, if
It's
you
a weird process,
If
Bonnie.
you wanna call the treasurer,
Yes.
Melissa Wofford, she'll be able to explain.
Yes, Melissa would have.
Well, I was just curious, cause I never ever heard of that before and I read that in the paper and I thought,
Sure.
It's done
when
quite a
was
bit.
that?
Funny, when I read this on the agenda, I'm going, I went and looked the paper up and I read it and I read it and read it.
You didn't know either.
Well, I didn't understand exactly what, to me, it would be that you as the property owner would have the right to pay the taxes ahead of time. It wouldn't go to property sale. But the way it reads now, it doesn't work that way.
Didn't you originally though, if it goes to a sheriff's sale,
Well, there's sheriff's
Or-
sale, there's sheriff's deeds, there's treasurer's,
so
sometimes the
all
treasurer
of that
does
is
it.
different?
There's, yes and no, they're different, but they're the same thing. That's one of the discussions we had today, on our Zoom meeting was who issues the deed, because most sheriffs don't wanna handle any money. They'll still handle the sale, but, some treasurers are handling the money now, so
Okay,
that's
what I was,
gonna be a discussion coming up.
but
the
originally
rules
I
change.
understood at a sheriff's sale that you have the right to come in, I don't know, 90 days or something, if you can pay the back taxes.
That's what it is, yes.
Is that right?
Yes,
But it has to be within that.
a certain timeline, yeah, I don't know if the 90 days is true or
I
not.
think
Bonnie,
that
but
went
yes.
to 2023.
But we pay in arrears. And it takes a while to get to tax sale. It doesn't go immediately to tax sale. So this is just saying that their
Come on in
rights
tomorrow
to do
or
that.
sometime this week, we'll sit
Yeah.
down with Melissa and we'll even bring Chris Kovic up too, and we can go over it and we'll get you any answer you want. Stop in
their
my office,
areas
get a
of
hold of me and I'll walk
expertise.
over with you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, any new business?
Yes. I've been working on this, letter that we received from FEMA, the government, and it goes clear back to the flood of 2019. We haven't quite balanced out. There's about $230,000 laying somewhere. So I was going to ask the board and the auditor, I have these people kind of gathered together. They would like to meet either on Monday, August 25th, or Tuesday, August 26th. Terry Brown from the State Department and stuff said it shouldn't take more than 45 minutes to an hour to do this.
Which days were those again, Richard?
August 25th, which is a Monday, last Monday, and on Tuesday, the 26th, which is board day. I kind of looked at, like Terry said, I said, can you make it here by 10:30? Because he has to come out of Des Moines and stuff. I said, no problem. I said, well, we'll probably look for Tuesday morning on the 26th.
That'd be nice.
And
That'd be good.
I will have FEMA, SWIPCO, and the county and anybody else that remembers anything about the flooding. But I found out when I was in Philadelphia, this is not unusual. Some of them are 6, 7 years old. Well, we're pushing 6 years.
Well, we need this put to bed so we can do something with the
Right.
ground.
Yeah.
We have some farmers that live next to these places that want to rent them
And
or buy them, but
we can't do anything with all those 72 spots that we bought down there,
Right.
that the government bought. We cannot release them to anybody until this is settled, so. That's all I have.
I was asked by Police Chief Johansson to remind everybody that tomorrow is the Cultivate Community event and that parking will be limited around the square. Our horseshoe will be closed parking, as well as Sharp Street will be closed and parts of Walnut by the fire station. So just keep that in mind as you're in our area, that park on Vine, First, or the north side, I think, of Walnut. But that way, everybody knows. And I did send an email out to all the county users as well to remind them.
thank you.
I have a few things. I had a lady stop into the courthouse tomorrow and asked for the board to approve the Bible reading marathon for the courthouse lawn, I believe it's
I'm gonna
23rd.
have that on the agenda on the 12th.
Yeah.
Yep, it'll be on the agenda.
Okay, and then the only other thing is I heard from a few people in the courthouse. I just want to clarify to see if either of you have heard it or if anybody talked to you, or maybe it was discussed when I was gone, but I was told that the county attorney is planning on moving county attorney's office across the street to her private practice office. Do any of you know anything about that?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 6:52.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn at 6:52. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye. Thank you, everyone.
thank you all. Appreciate it.